This is The Scene
on BBC Radio London with Aurie Styla.
This is The Scene.
Southern Freeze, if that is not a great tune to keep the vibe up today with today's theme, Good Deeds, I don't know what is. BBC Radio London, my name is Aurie Styla. You are listening to The Scene every Monday, 8 till 10. Well, it's actually all weekday, but I'm the Monday guy. On Tuesday, it is Clara Hermit. On Wednesday, it's Judy Love. On Thursday, it is Jasmine Dotiwala. And on Friday, Salma El Wadani and Lionheart, a.k.a. the Dynamic Duo. That's my nickname for them. You can't call them that. That's me. You call them that, then you got to pay me for the privilege of calling them the Dynamic Duo. But big them up anyway, because they are my guys. There we go. I got there in the end. Got my first guest in the building. Friend to the room, actor, producer, and an all-round swell guy that likes to dance before he likes to greet. As soon as he heard tunes, he was bubbling. Saw a friend as well, which is one of my producers. Started putting, I'm not doing the Hollywood thing. I like that. What's going on, Percelle? Ascott, how you doing, sir?
Thank you so much for having me, man.
No, thank you for coming down, man. Thank you for coming down. How you been?
I'm good.
Been working.
But just can't wait to reveal what we've been cooking up, you know?
Wait, there's some secret stuff we don't know yet.
You're going to do it to me, innit? You're going to ask me the question, what's going on?
You tell me now, will you be in trouble if I ask you to reveal what you will be working on?
It depends how much I reveal, you know?
Okay, all right.
So we could talk in like code.
We can talk in
and you
code.
might be able to break down the code, you know?
Okay, all right. If you give me some code and we'll see what we can figure out. And you don't have to confirm.
All right.
But if I guess something, then you know.
What we'll do throughout the show, I'll keep dropping little hints and little codes.
Sounds good to me.
We'll see what happens at the end.
Sounds good to me. For those who may not know who Percelle Ascott is, you're crazy because he has been working and grafting for a very long time. Started as a young boy on the wall and playing. Now you've been working from before that, but I know Mandem on the wall.
Well, no, that was the roots, man.
You think that was the first?
Yeah, like as soon as we finished the Brit School, myself and Javan, met D, Karte, amazing D, and then the first project we created was Mandem on the Wall, and then that was the first big project that like launched us and the first big lesson to this industry.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, that's great that I know often with a lot of actors, they may go into a few projects and then they wait for that one that can kind of elevate them. Yeah. But you jump straight into a project which is it may have taken a while, but it did grow to a point where you got massive recognition from that.
Yeah, I mean it was different because I guess for us we were like, okay, well, we want to create our own opportunity here, which was we were not the first, but because there was other people like Jazzy, Hamza, so many different other guys that were doing great stuff, but we also wanted to just take on their lead and do the same thing. And at the same time we were doing Mandem on the Wall, we were doing certain projects like BBC Casualty or I did this kids series called Wizard versus Aliens when I was about 18, and those were the projects that we were learning from those projects and taking those skill sets onto the set of Mandem and going, all right guys, we just saw the BBC do call sheets, we don't know what that is, but we need to learn how to do a call sheet and do it on our shoot.
No, of course. And one thing you said I want to definitely highlight, which is quite important, is you said I wanted to build my own content, create something of your own. How important is that nowadays?
Massively, massive. It's like I had a conversation with my friend just the other day and he made a good point. He said, what if this social media that we have, what if tomorrow we can no longer have access to it, in terms of we don't have these platforms that we've built. And you kind of think to yourself, would I regret not being able to maximize the opportunity to build an audience and put yourself out there? And I feel like that's the biggest thing creating our own opportunities has given us, is being able to control a little bit more of our pathway, our destiny, and just going, hey, like, world, like we exist, this is our content, and you get this instant gratification whether or not an audience is going to like it or not. And also you can kind of prove to TV execs or whoever it is that, hey, this works.
I was going to say that there are times where you can go to many auditions and get turned down. Many auditions. I mean, I've been to many as well. You've been to many. You get turned down. Yeah. But when you build something where other people then find you, as opposed to you having to always seek them out and then impress them. Yeah. When they go, well, this must be working, it almost changes the narrative of what it means to become successful as an actor, because you create your platform rather than waiting for other platforms to take you on board.
Exactly.
So I think that's fantastic.
Especially if you're creative and you want to express yourself, whether it's a narrative that you want to push out there, a message through whatever story that you want to tell, like that's where a lot of us can do it. And I feel like I push everyone to just to maximize on that opportunity.
Nice. I'm looking at your credits though. Even though you have built many platforms,
Yeah.
I mean, so you built a platform for you to gain so much recognition on. You've been on other people's platforms. Doctor Who, Tickle Monster.
Yeah.
What was Tickle Monster?
That was film 4. That was crazy.
It sounds it. I'm not gonna lie, bro. That sounds different.
Shout out to Fiona. There's a beautiful producer who just got me on that project. But that was just like a film 4 short film basically. And that was at the time where I was doing a lot of short films, and this is 2016. I took a lot of time out. Well, not time out, but just to do as many things as I can do to learn. And I felt like those projects there were helping me build to get ready for like the projects like Netflix on Innocence and stuff. So yeah, it was just learning. I'm still learning.
Nice. You said Innocence that came out last year, sci-fi series.
Yeah.
The Innocence. Tell us about that.
Oh man, I feel like Innocence. It's about two characters, Harry and June, and they both live in Yorkshire, and they both run away to be together, essentially. And along this journey of running away, they discovered that June, his girlfriend, has this special power, superpower, a gift, we should say, that she can basically change into people. But the conflict is that she can't come out of those bodies with she doesn't have control over that power.
Yeah.
So it was very grounded in the fact that we would actually talk about identity, and really understand what it means to live in someone else's like shoes or perspective. And I guess with Harry's character, my character, he had to love someone through that. So it's a love story that we're dealing with, but how can we really ground it? And for us, it was mainly about, okay, let's take these themes, but make sure that it feels real, feels relevant and relatable.
It sounds, I mean, when you said about identity, it almost sounds like one thing we always talk about now, especially on this show. There's elements of things that we always jump to, and one of the main things is social media and people's identity on social media, how you portray yourself. And it's almost kind of parallel with that, but with a sci-fi twist.
Yes.
In terms of building a character that people then go, this is who I am, but then being able to say I want to come away from that is a lot more difficult. Precisely.
And the biggest part of the series is that June has to learn how to accept who she is in order to control this gift. So that tells a lot about where we're all at right now in terms of social media and trying to accept who we are, essentially. And hopefully that helps us achieve happiness.
Wow. Deep.
I know, innit?
Deep. I love I've seen you do Man on the Wall for a long, long time. You've always been the one with the baby face.
Yeah.
Of all three of them, you look the youngest. I mean, I know the ages, in it, right?
Yeah.
Especially one, which is quite surprising because he's got a baby face but is older than me. We'll not say who, but one does. But you got the baby face, and then you hear you speak, and it's almost oxymoron of seeing someone who's so intelligent so in depth, especially to play a character like that where you have to tap into the understanding of someone who has to love somebody beyond what they see.
Yeah.
And you're how old are you?
I'm 25. Yeah.
Man, at 25, I'm 26 in it. So why are you laughing?
No, because I believe you.
You don't believe nothing. You don't believe. I'm 31, and it's refreshing to see.
You look good. You look good for 31, man.
I would have. If you just left it, you look good. I'd have been more than happy. But you have to say 31. You look good for 31. Yeah. Now it's refreshing to see and hear someone who is 25 years old, and within the demographic now that we're seeing a lot of. I don't want to say negative stereotypes. There are issues that are happening in this world that need to be addressed, but there is a lot of negativity towards, I would say, young black men in the UK because of a handful of people that are making the image of us look quite negative. Yeah. But it's refreshing to see somebody else, same age group, easily could have been. I wouldn't say you would have easily been in that route. I'm not saying I know how your past was, but
I understand. Yeah, we've all been subject to. The type of content that we've all seen for all of us to be impressionable.
Yes.
I'm sure, when I was 16, 17 years old or 18, it was very rare for you to see a positive image of yourself, within the media. So it was hard to have the mindset that I do have now. It was fortunate for me. I had, really good friends, mentors, peers, teachers, everything really, and a good family background to make sure that I I was able to just see the opportunity of just life. But I've just thank you as well, by the way. I didn't say thank you.
No, of course, man. That's cool.
Yeah, I have to always say thank you, man.
No, that's good. Manners, see it there? Manners, I like that. Let's talk about another big project that wasn't, you was on board with, but was run by another gentleman who knew that it's about making your own content, and that's Rapman. Shiro's Story, where you play a main character in there. Tell us firstly, I know what Shiro's Story is. Tell us a bit about Shiro's Story.
Shiro's Story, essentially, it's a love triangle. It's a love triangle between three characters, Shiro, Kyle, and Kira. And in this love story, love triangle, I should say, it's a fascinating story because I guess as you've watched it, it's a musically narrated short film. So all the parts are told through story and also through music, and that was quite different and quite unusual. And just like you said, genius of Rapman to come up with that. But we've got part 1, part 2, and part 3, and I guess people will just have to see how it all unfolds. Each part has a cliffhanger, and just grateful to be a part of that moment and that experience. And then we also got a hand in producing it as well for part 2 and part 3 as well. So it was just to see that baby. I think from the first time we were working on it, this is last year March. I think we had last year February we just wrapped it up, and I think we even did like a behind the scenes video, and we were saying, my answer to everything when it comes to content is that as long as you put in your energy, authenticity, everything like that, everything else isn't controlled. You can't just determine it's going to be millions of views, but just going, I just want audiences to see this. I don't care if it's 1 or 2 or 3, but then to have millions, that was
loads.
Surreal.
I mean, the impact it had, there were people that were on social media, and it became like they would take elements of the stories, turn them into memes. It became topics of where things should go next. The impact that Shiro's Story had, I haven't seen since. Even though the artist we know is someone we don't really like or represent because of what he's done off stage, but when we saw about 10, 12 years ago when Trapped in the Closet was created.
Yes.
It was almost like you would give a piece of a story and then you'd stop and everyone goes, no, we need more. And that urge to want more and to see more literally just made everyone go crazy and say, and it's almost like I watch Power and you get to the end of every episode of Power and you're like, I got to wait a whole week to this.
But
or Game of Thrones.
It's funny because it's like, I remember being at London Bridge Station and this girl come up to me and she's studying, I think she was doing English at university, and she said to me, she was just saying how much she loved the project, and she even referenced like Shakespeare, and I could see it. I could see the elements of how that story connects to Shakespeare's in terms of his storytelling, tragedy, all of these kind of themes there. And that essentially, I feel like Shiro's had just the right principles for why it worked, so it broke certain barriers because it wasn't just the surface area was the where it was located or the types of characters that featured in it, but everyone understands the emotion of betrayal, the emotion of revenge and of love and jealousy and all these kind of things there. So I feel like that's what massively we all kind of resonated with and connected to. And I guess with myself and Javan's working relationship, we're best friends, we're business partners, we're brothers, and we really worked on just convincing the audience of this friendship, and then in part 1 sort of like misleading them and for my character to do what he did, which was and as you said about pop culture, like I had people message me and people on the street, and it was fascinating, but people really took it to heart. Oh man, I'm sure people put up and say, why did you do that, man? Forgetting that you're the character. Bro, if I told you some of the stories that happened, seriously. Bro, it was like, but grateful because like in a world that we live in right now with so much saturation of content and just that, to break through and be able to affect people in the way we did with that impact. Because I guess with as you mentioned about the whole positive, images and stories at the moment on the sort of negative stuff that we're seeing currently, we really wanted Shiro's, I guess, end of the day, our consequences, we're going to have direct, these characters were pulling this little girl in this love triangle. And at the end of the day, they all had to they all went through that experience because of their actions, if that makes sense, you know? So it, again, hopefully it's another message to people to understand maybe they don't, you know, maybe choose that certain option or choice, whatever it is, you know?
Ladies and gentlemen, I got Percelle Ascott in the building. I'm going to play a tune. We got more questions for him. You all right to stick around and bubble a little bit?
I'm enjoying this, man. Yeah, let's
nice.
go.
How about we play some Sam Smith and Normani, Dancing with a Stranger? This is Aurie Styla, BBC Radio London, The Scene. Monday 8 till 10. My guest is in the building. Percelle Ascott, you still there, sir?
Yeah, man. I'm still here.
Nice. We've been talking, conversing, off mic and on mic as well. We've had a nice talk, but one thing I need to ask you about, which I didn't ask you before really, I kind of touched on, I guess, is rather than just the acting side of you, the producer side of you, you are the co-founder of the Wall of Comedy and the entertainment group, the Wall of Production. Firstly, I mean, break down Wall of Comedy, sir, firstly.
Wall of Comedy, man. Wall of Comedy started, we set the company up maybe 4 years ago, and it was the why about that was because we wanted to create opportunities. We had a journey with Mandem on the Wall in which we took the characters to E4 on Youngers, and we didn't get, you know, we were talking about having our own spin-off show. We didn't quite get that, and we kind of felt slightly jaded, well, I did anyway, personally, from just the TV industry, and just in terms of how it works, you know, sometimes maybe naively I just felt like, you know, things would just, you know, happen quite smoothly, and that didn't quite happen for us. So we sort of thought of, you know, why don't we take the power out of their hands, and why don't we, you know, have control over what gets commissioned and what doesn't get commissioned. So Wall of Comedy essentially was to support up and coming content creators, you know, other talent out there that would go through the same situation that we did, but how can we support them? So we worked with a bunch of people. Young Philly is probably one of the most prominent people that we worked with, and he's now within the BBC network now in terms of working his own show. There's a girl called Nush Cope. We had
Nush on last week.
Yeah.
Last week or the week before?
I think it was the week. Yeah, last week. Yeah, it was last week.
Yes.
And then we just produced original content, and Clara is actually on one of the pieces of content that we produced, group chat. So the main aim was just, how can we basically become our own TV network, you know, where we can hire out, commission, give opportunity to directors, writers, you know, producers, you name it.
I like that. It's again driven from, like you said, you felt slightly jaded after the spin-off show that should have happened that didn't, and said, you know what, rather than me going, I'm upset, leave it at that, what can I do to make my own platform? And I think that's fantastic.
Thank you, man.
I think it's great.
Mandem was a massive part of that, and that's why we called it the Wall, because it was Mandem on the Wall. So but it's just everything. It's like every experience we've taken on and gone, okay, you know what is the reason for this? There's a bigger picture. Okay, let's use it as a positive, you know, moment and just go forward.
Nice. And the Wall of Production, I'm guessing, is kind of the extension from Wall of Comedy?
Wall of Comedy was the first thing, and we've grown the platform to, I think it's like 500,000 followers on YouTube and something like that on Instagram, and Facebook we were on 8 million followers as well. So we felt like we had done as much as not as much as we can do, but we would continue to do what we're doing. And we was like, oh well, look, we've got other passions and interests like music, so we set up the Wall of Music. We've got the Wall of Food, the Wall of Fitness, fashion, sport, and then the Wall of Productions came because when we did Shiro Story, that was our core thing, you know, regardless if it's comedy, whether it's, you know, drama, producing content has always been our main reason why, you know, why we love doing what we're doing. So we did a short film last year called Amani, which was about our friend Amani Simpson. He was stabbed 7 times 7 years ago, and so we did a spoken word piece around his life and released that, and you know that did pretty well. And then we worked with Young Bane on his short film as well. We did HBK. It was part of his album, and we created the album, but we created the short film around the album basically. We had like his music inserted in the different parts of the film, and then loads more stuff was coming, and we was like, actually, we need to think about what we're doing here. And then now we're in the middle of producing a sports documentary, and then we've got some TV drama stuff. We've got a feature film in the pipe work, and just everything. Not just like I said, not just comedy, not just drama, but it could be sports related. It could be whatever. Anything we're passionate about, and also anything that we're able to communicate emotion and a message.
I think that's fantastic.
Thank you, man.
The avenues that you're going in, it started off from kind of sketch comedy and then going, you know what? Rather than just having to be here, there's so many other things we can do, and it's not just about it started off with 3 guys on the wall, and it spreads out to a lot more people that can say, all right, we've got food here. I mean, I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, man.
And I think it's important that people know, again, I'm going to say this again, you're 25 years old, right? You are. There are some people that believe, I don't know if I can do it because I still got to get experience, or I'm young, I think if you are an example of somebody who has put in effort from a young age, and it's worked out for you, and you're still very young as well, and it's great to see that growth and development, and you're going to continue to grow. I can see 100%. There's no more turned down from spin-offs and stuff or feeling jaded because of stuff like that. I think it's fantastic to see a positive young man do positive stuff.
Thank you, bro.
I think it's great, sir.
Thank you.
We got a theme on the show today. It's called Good Deeds. Now, we spoke off air about this, but just to remind those who are listening, Robert F. Smith is a philanthropist from America. Money like you can't count. Because he's a businessman who's done so much for his community, and he has also done a really good deed. I'll read it to you right now. Robert F. Smith is one of America's most prominent black philanthropists. When I try to read it quickly, I'd never be able to say the word. Philanthropists.
Yeah, you got it.
There we go. And students at the historic all-male black college, which is Morehouse College in Atlanta, will benefit at a cost of tens of millions of dollars that he's putting in to pay off their student loans. That's like 400 students. He's paying it all off for them one time. That is his way of saying, ladies and gentlemen, in this room, I just want to encourage these men and say, you've achieved what you've achieved. Don't worry about your financial debt. All I want you to do is, now that you've achieved what you've achieved, just pay that forward. Yeah. That's his good deed. Yeah. So our theme is good deeds today. Is there any good deeds that you know either that you have done, or maybe has someone's done to you or around you that striking the chord to you?
Like it's hard to say the good deed that I might have done. I don't know. It's so.
I believe there's a couple.
No. It's just when you're trying. I guess the good deed that I might have. I love finding people like myself, younger people like myself, in terms of where. These production company, they're based in Manchester, group of like 16, 17 year olds, and like, honestly, bro, they have the hunger and the drive, and they've got everything in them. And I just, when I spoke to them, I saw myself in them, and they're called Cam Film, KAM Film, and they're just doing great stuff. And I just off the back of speaking to one of the guys who works part of their production company. Then now I invited them to London, and we had a meeting, and now I just said to them, yo, like, I don't mind mentoring you or whatever it is, or anything I can do. And I feel like on this I want to do more. I need to do more, you know? I know the stuff that I have maybe achieved or whatever it is, but I feel like I haven't done enough on the sort of on the ground front, you know? I'm talking about really impacting our community through the social things that we're dealing with, because I think for us, you know, I'm able to use the talent of film and acting and using that to create messages, but I really want to start speaking up and being a voice that is counted.
I think that's a good deed, and even just knowing you want to do that, it will definitely manifest itself.
Just trying to find the right angle. You know how it is. It's just, you want to make sure that when you do come in and take that position, it's like, okay, talk Akala. I love Akala. Right?
Oh, brilliant.
He's amazing.
Brilliant.
And I love every time he speaks, because I can count on him to speak for us.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
100%.
I have every time I put up a YouTube clip of Akala, I have no doubt in my head that he's going to speak so much sense.
Yeah.
So for me, I really want to just learn as much as I can, just to be able to just represent, be a role model, but represent in the right way with all the knowledge I have, you know what I mean?
Nice. Percelle, Ascott in the building right here on BBC Radio London. We're going to go to track. You're not going anywhere too tough, are you?
Man,
all right, I'm going to get my next guest in just a bit, but then you're going to come back when we talk some topics. Going to play a Wicked Man track. Let's take it back to Jamaica with Sham Ghetto Story.